Good morning. My name is Christine Derricks, and I'm the Usability Consultant from Northeastern University. This presentation is for the Bright Lines Paper Project team, and I'm here today to report my findings from the usability test I conducted on the Bright Lines Paper mobile app. Let me go over today's agenda. First, I will give an executive summary as to give you a broad understanding of the presentation. Then I will cover the usability test's goals, positive results from testing, issues uncovered in testing, issue severities and rankings, recommendations for improvement, the business rationale for this test, and next steps. Then I will conclude and invite your questions. The Bright Lines Paper app was designed for beginner writers who have learning difficulties and individuals with low vision, visual perception issues, and attention disorders. It was released on the iTunes Store in May of 2013. The app has been subjected to only minimal testing by a non-usability expert before its release, and any usability problems were unknown. Furthermore, you found evidence on the app's iTunes preview page left by real users that key usability problems existed. To uncover usability issues, I recruited 4 test participants: 2 students, ages 7 and 9, 1 parent, age 35, who is an HR professional and has a master's degree, and 1 educator, age 62, who is a retired middle school reading teacher who also earned a master's degree. All test participants either own or have regular access to an Apple tablet device, and they all prefer Apple devices. I conducted 3 of the sessions in a home office in Arlington, Virginia, and 1 session in a home office in Arlington, Vermont. Each session had the same setup and was conducted without distraction. My usability test was summative, so it focused on test participants' abilities to accomplish a set of 12 granular tasks. The 2 students were asked to complete 9 of those tasks, and the parent and teacher were asked to complete 6 of those tasks. I'd like to draw your attention to the summary metrics table. I inadvertently omitted 1 task during the test with the parent, so test participants collectively attempted 29 tasks. Participants were able to successfully complete 20 tasks, or 69%, and they were unable to complete 9 of the tasks, or 31%. I will be describing the issues I uncovered a little later in this presentation. So what were the goals of this usability test? Customers are demanding more usable mobile applications than ever before, especially for the ones they pay for. To evaluate the usability of the app, we determined that the goals of this usability test were to determine if functions are used and work as intended, reveal what's not clear, identify technical errors, identify usability issues, and realize any opportunities for more sales. You also wanted to know if students preferred to write with a finger or with a stylus. Next, I will be describing the results. One of the most positive results was that all test participants immediately understood what the app was for and said its main functions were easy to learn. Some of the words used to describe the app were easy to learn, easy, intuitive, straightforward, and pretty clear-cut. Parent number 1 said the home page's logo was that it immediately helped her understand what the app was for. The educator said that the app was an interesting and appealing concept and that the logo was catchy. She also predicted that kids would zip right through the app without problems. She said this would increase the likelihood of her purchasing and using the app. During his debrief, student number 2 verbalized another strong attribute of the app. There are not a lot of buttons, which corroborates everyone's comments about its straightforwardness, and everything is labeled the way he'd expect. In fact, retrieving a worksheet was so intuitive that student number 2 preempted the task before I asked him how he would retrieve a worksheet, and the parent began demonstrating how she would retrieve a worksheet before I had finished reading the task aloud. Astoundingly, each participant only took 4 seconds to determine the right button, click on it, and arrive at the correct screen. The students overwhelmingly preferred to use a stylus for their writing. Not only did it take the students on average 44 more seconds to write with a finger, Student number 2 said during his finger writing tasks that this is pretty hard. It's hard to make curved lines. I have to go pretty slow. Both students reported their preference for using the stylus during their debrief sessions. The app had 100% success rate when I asked all 4 participants to begin writing as soon as possible and to retrieve a saved worksheet. It also had 100% success rate when I asked the students to write with a finger and a stylus and replace writing with new writing. It also had 100% success rate when I asked the parent and teacher to find out the recommended width for a beginner writer and find out the recommended grip for holding a stylus. The app did fail the participants for some tasks. I'd like to describe 8 issues I found. Issue number 1. The app failed to allow all 4 test participants to save a worksheet. Each one correctly identified how to save a worksheet, but the app was unresponsive to all attempts. Issue number 2. Student number 1 assumed the app was unresponsive when he clicked Next during his finger writing task. To find a blank page, he began clicking the Next button repetitively and quickly, and the app responded by skipping over blank pages. Since he had gotten the pages mixed up, he was unable to find the first page of his worksheet again. Student number 2 did not have much more patience while waiting for pages to load either. He thought the navigation to other pages wasn't working, and I demonstrated a slower, more deliberate click to successfully navigate. Additionally, when I asked him to navigate to a certain page, he squinted to read the page numbers. Issue number 3. The parent and teacher were not able to successfully determine how they could order hard copy paper using the app. They both decided they would send the company an email. Issue number 4. After the students had written on and navigated between pages, they noticed that their writing got stuck in the template background. They were confused as to how the writing had gotten there, and the glitch bothered student 1 so much that he erased it before continuing. Issue number 5. Student number 1 observed sharp, straight lines that appeared from resting his palm on the touch screen. Since he didn't believe he had written those lines, he was confused as to how they had gotten there. Issue number 6. The students tended to start writing in the top leftmost corner, where the write and erase buttons are located. At times, I observed the students accidentally click on erase when they wanted to write, or vice versa. Issue number 7. I observed test participants hesitate on the select your paper screen, as if they had not expected to be asked about width. Each participant was unsure which width was most appropriate for him or her. Issue number 8. Lastly, the parent and educator spent, on average, 33 seconds finding the correct answer to my question, which width does the company recommend for beginner writers? Both correctly navigated to the information page, but both had to read and scroll to find the answer. Next, I will describe the issue's severities and rankings. On a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being a non-issue and 5 being a usability catastrophe, I've ranked each issue I just described. Since this app is not used for medical or financial purposes, none of the issues are ranked as catastrophic, but a few are ranked as major usability problems. The first 4 issues are major, and those are the inability to save worksheets to retrieve later, slow page loading when navigating between pages of a worksheet, the inability to order hard copy paper, and accidentally clicking write or erase buttons when not intending to. I found 2 tasks to be minor, and those are difficulty determining appropriate width before writing and difficulty determining appropriate width on the information page. The last 2 are cosmetic in nature, and they're ranked at 2. Those are previous writing getting stuck behind the worksheet template and palm smudges appearing on the worksheet. As a result of my findings, I would like to make 4 recommendations. My first recommendation is that you fix the code for saving a worksheet and retrieving it later. The disparity between what's offered and what's possible could be hurting the app and company's credibility. My second recommendation is that you redesign the worksheet. A redesign has the potential to resolve 4 known issues. Eliminate worksheets 2 through 5, so there is only 1 page per worksheet. By eliminating pages 2 through 5, a user will never experience slow loading pages. It will also eliminate the cosmetic issue of previous writing getting stuck behind the worksheet template. Eliminate all but one line on the worksheet and place it near the bottom of the screen. So when a student rests his palm, he will rest it away from the touch screen. This would reduce instances of those sharp, straight palm smudges. Position the write and erase buttons far away from the writing area. This would decrease the instances of students accidentally selecting the write function when they wanted to erase and vice versa. Since we're reducing the number of lines, we can make the clear button more prominent so that a student can clear the line for more writing. My third recommendation is for the Select Your Paper screen. Next to each width in the menu, it should describe who should use each selection. Also remove the measurements. This would eliminate the hesitation I observed when participants were asked to begin writing. The numerical measurements were not helpful to any user, and additionally, this would save a customer a trip to the information page. My fourth and last recommendation is to eliminate all content but the contact information from the information page and add a link to the hard copy paper order form. Test participants had no problems understanding the app's purpose, and presumably, if a user is reading the information page, it means he or she already read its description on the iTunes page, deemed it worthy of $9.99, and purchased it. Also, none of the test participants needed to be given instructions on how to perform any of the tasks, so the instructions for getting started, writing, and erasing are unnecessary. This recommendation for improvement actually speaks to how usable your app really is. As Donald Norman, a human-centered design expert, would say, intuitive products don't need instruction manuals. So what's the business rationale for this usability test? It uncovered the positive usability attributes and some areas for improvement. Implementing even one or two of my recommendations will improve the usability of the app, which will improve your customers' experience and increase your sales. When more customers buy your app, you will spend less time coordinating the printing of the hard copy paper, filling orders, and shipping orders. If app sales increase, your postage expenses and overhead for paper and shipping supplies will decrease. Once the app is purchased, the only additional revenue from a single customer would be from him or her ordering hard copy paper. My recommendation to provide a link to the hard copy order form will increase your sales opportunities. As I conclude this presentation, allow me to review my recommendations. Prioritize fixing the code for saving a worksheet and retrieving it later. Add a link to the hard copy paper order form to increase sales opportunities. Then make it easier for your customers to select which width is appropriate for them. Then implement the recommendations to redesign the worksheet to make it easier for students to learn how to write with the app. Lastly, test again. As you implement any changes, retesting will make sure that a fix didn't break something else unintentionally. At this point, I'd like to conclude the presentation. Please feel free to review the raw notes and raw data of the usability test. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to send me an email or reach me at the number on the screen. Thank you for listening.